Hello, it's Ted Corliss with News Munchies. Follow us on our website at www.newsmunchies.com. Also look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. News Munchies, dedicated to the legalization, medicalization, and reformation of America's marijuana laws. Welcome to News Munchies with Ted Corliss. 33 states in the District of Columbia provide for medical marijuana. 10 states provide for adult or recreational use. This kind of exponential growth calls for us to develop a marketplace that is clean and safe, that is dynamic by meeting all the needs, the medical needs of its customers, and that the marketplace be progressive. And what I mean by progressive is the importance, for example, of the growth of women in the role of owning and operating the cannabis components that make the industry so successful. During these last couple of months and in the months ahead, we're going to continue to locate the women in the industry that are making a difference in the industry. And today we're going to have the opportunity to speak with Hillary Peckham of Etain Health in the state of New York. Welcome to News Munchies. We have Hillary Peckham today to talk about the success that they're having in the New York marketplace. Welcome, Hillary. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I've been very excited after reading the interview that you did with Forbes magazine talking about the successes that your organization is having so far. And tell me, what is your mission right now as the owner of a successful cannabis industry?
So, we have a bunch of different things that we're trying to accomplish in this space. And the first and foremost is providing high-quality cannabis products to patients in New York and making sure that we do so with an organization that is leading the way in terms of ethical leadership and promoting women. So right now, we are at about 65%, 70% women as an organization, and our upper management is about 75% women. And we're trying to lead the space and make room for women in the industry because right now it's predominantly men. So that's been a huge part of the operational mission. And then from a sales perspective, we're looking to try and make sure that our products are high quality, safe, trusted, and use very conscious ingredients to make sure that we minimize allergies and any contraindications that way.
Got it. Now, having read the background on your operations, it's amazing to me that you've been able to take advantage of all of the talented women that can bring so much to the table to an industry like this. How is it that became such an integral part of how you conducted business, promoting based upon success and not necessarily because of gender?
Yep. So, we're a family organization first and foremost. So I am the operations officer. My sister is the chief horticultural officer, and my mother is the CEO. And she, in particular, took time off of the workforce to raise me and my three other siblings. And so this initiative really was her coming back into the workforce and her first job really after having raising four children. And so that is where we started. And then a lot of the women that we were surrounding ourselves with, were all in similar situations of having taken time off to raise children and then trying to find a way back into the workforce, which can be very difficult. And we found an organization called Women Grow, which promotes women in the cannabis industry, and they helped connect us to a network of people that were really trustworthy and had a lot of integrity, which is something that's really important to us. And it just kind of, branched out from there. And then once we found all these women that were kind of looking to get into the workforce, we found not only is this like a potential job for them, but their commitment and capability and the way that they've been able to adapt and work in this industry has been invaluable to us.
Oh, I'm certain of that. I know my mother had four sisters, and one time they decided to open a deli. And I can assure you their deli did not do as well as you're doing up in New York, I can tell you that much. and then they didn't even want to hang out with each other around Christmas. Are you all able to leave the business behind when family time comes around?
Absolutely not.
I figured.
So my yeah, my brother works for us. My fiance, my brother-in-law. We are all in this together. So I think that's actually everyone tries to have like a work-life balance, and they say how important that is. But I think that our ability to just focus and our passion for this industry. So the fact that we don't stop working has been part of what's made us successful.
I understand. Here in the state of Florida, kind of moving towards the more business-related questions. In the state of Florida, we've just recently introduced smokable cannabis, and that's different from inhalation cannabis. And at the same time, you even have to get a specific request from your doctor to use topical CBD products, even though they have no euphoric reaction. The idea here being the state of Florida is over-regulating and over-medicalizing cannabis, in my opinion. What is your impression of the manner in which you're regulated in New York just opposed to other states?
So New York is known for having the most stringent set of regulations in the country, and so it is. There's a lot of regulation that goes into our products and the way that we can operate. So to me, on one side, I very much support that because it means that we are producing quality products to a standard that you don't see in any other state. And so I really can get behind the quality of all operators, not just Etain in New York, because it is essentially pharmaceutical grade, and I think that's valuable. But from a patient standpoint, what I would like to see is that unlike Florida, right now we have a very limited set of qualifying conditions. And so you have to have like a specific subset of like both a condition and a symptom, and you have to go see a doctor for it. And so what I would like to see is this to be treated like any other pharmaceutical drug where if a doctor thinks that you'll benefit, you can then participate in this program, which I think is how Florida operates. As opposed to right now where you have to have a qualifying condition regardless of what your doctor's opinion is. Right now we have a limited set of patients that can access this program, and I think that would help to increase access to people who are suffering who could benefit from this, and it would also allow us to eventually lower our prices and make things more affordable for patients here.
Are you finding the price issue to be stable at this point? I know in a few states, at least for certain kinds of products, the prices have just plummeted, making it very difficult for bigger thinking cannabis producers to produce their products. I mean, are you finding it a pretty stable market?
Yep. So we actually have kind of the opposite issue here where there's so much regulation and a limited patient count that the prices are very much higher than you would see in any other state. And part of that, I think will happen no matter what because it's New York, but then also the quality that these products have to be produced at is above what you'd find in any other state. So most patients wind up spending about $250 to $300 a month. And that can be burdensome, particularly for somebody who's in critical condition and can't work, so they don't have an income. And so the prices have, we've lowered our prices about 30% since we started, but you're not seeing kind of a race to the bottom that you would in like Oregon or some other states like that.
I know that a lot of the products that are being sold in Florida appear to be pretty similar to those that are appearing in the New York marketplace. I noticed that you have a product that you're working on or maybe have already advanced that is a powdered form. It's flavorless, it's odorless, and you can create edibles by drinking a cup of tea. Is that my understanding?
Yes, we are the only producers of this product in New York, and I think there's maybe only one other company that produces it in the United States, and we use a different set of ingredients. We're pursuing a patent on it, but essentially you take just like a 1/8 teaspoon and you just take a scoop of it, and it dissolves in absolutely any liquid. So it's extremely versatile, and discreet. So it doesn't have a smell or a flavor. And so you could take like a sugar packet and take it with you, and just consume your medicine anywhere, anytime, and it's very easy. You can bake with it or do any kind of cooking. So it's very versatile, like mixed drinks or anything like that with the CBD market. So we're really excited to be able to offer that to our patients.
Are you having the opportunity to get feedback from your various patients about the different products that are working for them especially well? I mean, the product you just described to me is kind of the omega of all of the cannabis products because you can use it in anything for any reason. I'm assuming that's a pretty fast onset for a product like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that's actually it's probably our second most popular, or just about our first. Our vaporizers and this are tied. It's a pretty fast onset, so 15 to 25 minutes for onset, and it's so easy to use, and it's safe, it's organic, and it's plant based. So it's something also like for people who are more health conscious. And don't want to have to vaporize something. It's an extremely popular product, so we've gotten great feedback, and we're really excited about it.
I really like the family brand because to me it preserves the craft nature of cannabis. Do you think as you get a little bit bigger and continue to open up more locations that it's going to be a challenge to maintain that family appeal?
You know, we as a family have experience in other industries. Our other family business is turning 95 years old this year, and so it's something that we know how to operate and how to scale, and something that's such a core principle of our business is, you know, operating it like a family, treating our employees like a family, and our patients and customers. So I think that, you know, any kind of expansion we do is always going to have that in mind. And it's definitely challenging even today, because if you look at the kind of landscape in New York, we're the only privately held company, much less women-owned, much less family-owned. So it definitely comes with its risks and its challenges, but I think it's something that's helped us be successful and sustainable, and something that is at a core of who we are. So I don't see us getting rid of that.
At some point, New York and a lot of these other states are going to pick up recreational or adult use cannabis. How do you see that move altering your mission?
So in many ways, I don't think it will. I think most people are consuming cannabis, and even in a recreational market, um, from a health and wellness, medical-ish kind of perspective. You know, whether it's trying to relax at the end of the day, get a good night's sleep if you have anxiety. Those are all reasons that people consume cannabis largely, and those I would consider medically oriented, where you're trying to take care of yourself in some way. And so our mission is always to provide the highest quality products to anybody that can get access to them. So I think we definitely want to participate in a recreational market if that becomes an option in New York State, because I think that what we can offer is a quality product that people can trust, and I think that will benefit a large part of the population.
You know, one of the things I love about going into cannabis dispensaries is that it's to me it's the chocolate factory, and I suppose what we would say is that you have it's Winnie Wonka in the chocolate factory. Tell me what kinds of crazy inventions do you have on the horizon that you're hoping to introduce sometime in the future?
So we just launched our topical line, but we also are really proud. We just released a couple weeks ago our lozenges, which are almost like a Hall's hard lozenge that is honey based and is delicious. And so we're looking at expanding that line of it's not technically it's oral mucosal, but edible or like flavored products to make it easier and more enjoyable to consume cannabis for people who don't like the taste. And so
I
that's
love the
something that
taste.
we're definitely excited about. Yeah.
I'm not afraid of the taste.
Well, I know many people do, but especially with like medical patients, you never know. So, and making products that are familiar to the consumer, so people who have never tried cannabis before know how to use a lozenge, they know how to use our powder. So that's something that we're always working towards building is what is familiar to people from other industries and other consumable products that we could apply now to cannabis.
Have you been following any of the research associated with using CBD in pets? And have you all considered anything in that space?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, my dog has seizures, and we started using CBD for her, and they went away.
Oh, well,
And
tell
so
me.
she's
Okay, so
seizure free.
you have no idea the number
So
of people that reach out to me about cannabis products and pets, but there's so much misinformation on the web, and there's so many people that are trying to sell you CBD oil from a gas station. And when you really, especially when you think about a pet, it's one thing if I take too much CBD or THC, I can get over it. But,
yep.
Animals react so differently to these things than humans do. What would tell me what if I'm living in New York and I've got a nervous poodle and I walk into your dispensary, what would you recommend for a pet like that?
Yep. So there are a few really good online CBD stores. We cannot sell, though there is a bill in the legislature to be able to sell our products for pets. I would recommend absolutely no THC for a pet because it can actually be toxic. But CBD can be very beneficial. You just need to find like a very trusted brand. So there are some expressly like pet-oriented products. I know CW, I think it's the Charlotte's Web company, that a lot of our actually office staff is using it for their dogs. But you need to be really careful in researching whoever you're purchasing CBD from, especially if it's an online source. I would never recommend buying it from the gas station because you have no idea what's in it.
You don't.
And if it even has CBD in it, because that's not a requirement.
Well, it could
So
be a
I think it
trace
can
amount.
be.
Yeah, it could be with
Yep.
organic solvents. It could be all kinds of garbage. Sure.
Yep, and so that can lead to a lot of confusion right now between like our products and what's available online. So I would suggest people do the research. They can reach out to us, and we can recommend a few companies. But I definitely think I've personally seen positive effects in my dog, and it's something that if we were allowed to, we would absolutely produce products for, like tomorrow. I would love to.
Right. You think you have any CBD products that can keep my wiener dog from peeing in my living room? I mean, that's really the trick I'd like the dog to pick up.
Yep, I know. I'm not sure I can help.
Thank you for that. Well, let's turn back to what I think is so important for us to focus on, and that's the idea of the fact that you promote so well women in your organization. Is there a sense from you that it changes the culture in a way that's different from maybe so many other, well, let's face it, the industry, as much as it's gender friendlier, it's still predominantly dominated by men, probably because of the fact that the banking industry and the money is still controlled predominantly by men. How is it that the organization, that culture is then expressed, that it is predominantly women?
Yeah, I think that women are particularly empathetic, and so for our patients, I think they really connect with that, and they understand that when they're coming to an Etain store or they're calling us or purchasing our products, that we're going to go above and beyond and really try to connect with you and provide individualized care. And so what I've been, most proud of is the culture that we've really created is that everybody is family within the organization, and so we rely on each other a lot, and we get along great. But then also that our patients know that they can rely on us to try and figure out anything, issues they might be having, and that we really care about the outcome that they have when they're taking our products. And I think anybody that is working for us really understands that we're trying to make a difference, and it's not just about making money, it's about improving the quality of people's lives. And so I think that definitely is something that women are well suited for in like a healthcare industry, because that's largely nursing and sort of nurturing our stereotypically like female characteristics, which I think apply really well to this when you're dealing with a medical population that is oftentimes suffering.
I understand that. I really do, because when I've gone to dispensaries all over the United States, the bud tender's role is critical because there has to be a certain amount of understanding of the products, but then there has to be a sense of empathy from the bud tender as to what the purpose of the visit is. And I know your family, you had a family member, was it a grandmother who had ALS? Is that is that correct?
Yep. So that actually led to like the inception of our company. Was my grandmother was diagnosed with ALS, and eventually passed away from that disease. And we saw how end of life care can be really mismanaged. And she was on 25 different medications that all had worse interactions than the
Horrible.
symptoms
Right.
caused by her disease. And so, caring for her really gave us an eye-opening experience to people who are suffering. And myself, I had a failed hip surgery, so I lost the use of my right leg for 2 years, had to relearn how to walk and everything. And I personally experienced how pain management is mismanaged oftentimes, where the only things I could be given were Percocet and Adderall. And trying to get through college and life like that really didn't give me quality of life. And so, that's how we founded the business, was with a mission of improving the quality of life and care for people. And I think that, having been through those experiences, both my mom as my grandmother's caretaker and her my caretaker, we really understand and never forget that as we're building our company, why we started this and what we're trying to accomplish.
Sounds fantastic. Hillary, let's take a short break, and we come back. We'll talk a little bit about your social media, and then we'll be out. Hello, it's Ted Corliss with News Munchies. Follow us on our website at www.newsmunchies.com. Also look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. News Munchies, dedicated to the legalization, medicalization, and reformation of America's marijuana laws. Okay, Hillary, we're back on, and I wanted to provide you an opportunity to pitch any social media in particular you'd like to chat about, or if there is some event coming up in the future that you'd like to discuss.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our Facebook page is Etain LLC, or at Etain LLC, to follow us on Instagram or Twitter. We will also be at the Javits Center convention next week, which I think I'm going to get the dates of. It is May 29th through June 1st. If you want to stop by our booth and ask us any questions and sign up for a newsletter, you could do that also through our website at www.etainhealth.com.
Fantastic. We've had the benefit of chatting with Hillary Peckham, the Chief Operations Officer of Etain Health in New York. She provides an opportunity to continue to advance the role of women in cannabis by running a women-owned, family-run business. Hillary, I enjoyed chatting with you. Thank you, everyone. You keep an eye out for us on News Munchies, SoundCloud, and be well.